Greetings, Silkies. Today I'm going to talk about some safety tips for new models and current models. I have a list written down for this, so I'm going to go through the list and talk about certain points that are really important. As new models go into the modeling world, there are a lot of dangers involved in this. Even for some models that have been modeling for some time, it's good to heed these warnings and not take them lightly. The general bottom line is if you ever feel uncomfortable doing a photo shoot, definitely stop. Don't feel embarrassed. If you need to stop doing something that makes you feel uncomfortable, please don't do it. This not only pertains to Gothic and alternative models, but to all models who are just starting out, or are still in it, or maybe you plan to be a model. First tip, never go alone to a shoot. Now there are a lot of photographers who will say, oh, you cannot bring an escort, or an escort is someone to be with you at a photo shoot. Forget them. If you don't feel comfortable, especially with a new photographer, and you would like someone that you know to be there with you and to ensure your safety, definitely bring them along. Do not let any photographer tell you otherwise. And I will be honest with you, there are several photographers out there who will say no, they do not do an escort policy, but the best thing is just avoid them. Even with mainstream modeling, there are photographers saying that if you're not adult enough to go to your photo shoot by yourself, and you do not need to be in the modeling industry, do not listen to that. If you are not comfortable doing a photo shoot, do not let a photographer tell you that you cannot bring someone. The shoot is about you're being photographed, and they are someone who's supposed to be assisting you with that, or you're assisting them with creating art. If two people are uncomfortable, one, it shows on camera. It shows a lot. If a model is uncomfortable, it shows on camera, no matter how hard she's trying. And trust me, I've been down that road, so that's something that I am familiar with. With that said, when you do bring an escort, make sure it's someone who is not troublesome, someone who's not overly dramatic, like a jealous boyfriend, a very loud friend. You never want to bring someone like that. The positive side of bringing an escort is escorts help with photo shoots. If a photographer needs a hand with some equipment or yada yada, that escort can help. With escorts also, make sure they're comfortable with sitting there for a long period of time. Photo shoots aren't usually shorter than an hour. Well, the really good ones anyway. So make sure your escort has patience and can find something to do if they choose not to assist with the photo shoot. Another thing is that a lot of new models kind of get messed up is shooting with crappy photographers. I'm talking about the guy with the camera. The one who has no experience, no previous work, no samples of his work at all, and just says he wants to shoot with you, he's just trying to build up experience. That's fine if you do work with a beginner photographer, if that's what you choose to do, but if they're a photographer, they're going to have something to prove their skill, even if it's just taking pictures of flowers. So this is something that new models have to be careful with, because there are people who are pervs behind cameras who, portray themselves as photographers, but they're not. They're not professional, and it's not showing their work. Also, the other downside of shooting with an amateur photographer who shows no willingness to improve or just has really bad work, it's not going to do much for your portfolio. When you're starting out, you're trying to build up your portfolio with positive things. I mean, if they're paying you to be added to their portfolio and it's not that good, you can still do it, but at the same time, you don't have to post those photos, you don't have to use them. You can tell them that you don't want those photos used. In my case, if I get asked by a subpar photographer with editing to do a photo shoot and I get paid for it, I am very skilled in photo editing, so that's something that I could bring to the table and if it's not something that they're willing to compromise on, usually I will turn it down. Okay, so say you do have a photographer that does have photos up on his page. Do those photos look consistent? Meaning, do you have different lighting, different angles? Like, you could always, a photographer will always have different models on this page, but is this just like one photo of one model, the next one photo of another model? And it's just totally inconsistent. Even the quality and experience in each photo looks different. And another warning sign is no watermark, because most professional photographers use watermarks because they don't want to see their photos get stolen, you know. So really look at it. Does it look too good to be true? Do they have credentials? Are your models vouching for them, saying that this is an excellent photographer? Or models have those photos on their page? You know, you gotta always look for credentials when looking at that stuff, because people will lie about, you know, their portfolio and have fake pictures up, and you go to work with them and until that turn out to be a total creep or something. The next one is about getting charged. Unless you are directing the photo shoot, you should not have to pay. If you're just basically adding to your portfolio, or photographers just basically adding to your portfolio just to build it up, it should be time for print or trade shoot. Basically, a trade shoot is not necessarily free. You put your time into the shoot, you get something out of it for your portfolio. When the photographer puts their time into the shoot and they get something out of it for their portfolio. You should also get copies of your photo shoot, and if there's a contract for this, make sure you read all the fine print and make sure what you see is fair to you, that you're getting something out of it. You know, they're not trying to use your pictures for something wrong or anything like that. Now, as far as getting paid, if a photographer is getting profit out of your photos, you should get a cut of it too. They should pay you. If they're looking to shoot with you and you're no longer doing trade for print anymore, and you got some experience underneath your belt and your portfolio is just pretty much good, you should be getting paid at that point. Now we'll touch up on fetish shoots. Fetish shoots are usually stuff that alternative models do, and I don't see it as mainstream at all. I mean, some mainstream modeling does throw a little bit of it in there, but this is basically for people who do fetish shoots as well. I am involved in that type of thing. I haven't done too much on it, but I do know that when you set up a fetish shoot, you do have to be extra careful versus a normal one. You have to make sure the photographer isn't looking for some kind of hookup or some sexual favor out of it. Believe it or not, that does happen. Most definitely with this type of thing, depends on what type of work you're doing, like rope work, you got to make sure this person has references and you have experience, because especially with rope work, you do need experience with that, because if you tie the knots in the wrong way and just have inexperience with it, it actually can cause health problems. And personally, from my experience, just on fetish modeling sites, I've seen some really crappy work. I mean, there's photographers that are taking pictures that are just horrible. And then, again, on the other hand, I have seen some excellent fetish photography. And you do have to pick and choose properly. Especially with fetish, I definitely would have to get paid for that. I do not see fetish work as porn. It can be pornographic in nature, but for me, it's always clothed, never nude. Also, you have to make sure that's something that you pay attention to. Is the photographer looking for nude work, or is looking for non-nude work? Most of the time, they are looking for nudity. But if you're not comfortable doing that, definitely do not do that. This should be like the top tip of all. Confidence, confidence. You definitely need confidence in your photo shoot. If you ever feel uncomfortable with your photo shoot, it's okay to stop. It's okay to leave. You do not have to do it anymore. and just be honest with yourself. Because when you take your pictures and there's no confidence, hey, pictures are pretty dull. Have you ever seen any pictures of models that were not confident? Mostly like new models. Could you see the confidence in their eyes? Or could you see the lack of confidence? Even if people don't like your photos, at the end of the day, you know you try your best, and that's what matters. There always going to be people out there who do not like your photos, and there's going to be people who love your photos. Lastly, take charge of your photo shoot. It is your photo shoot after all, and you're capturing you. You're capturing you in fashion. You're capturing your essence, who you are, what you're about, you know, your type of thing, your style. So it's good to have copies of your photos and have a say on which photos that you want posted, which photos you want saved, which photos you want deleted. It's good to have a copy of your photos, and say something goes down and the photographer totally loses everything, you have copies of your photos. That's all the tips I have for today. I hope it helped a lot of you. Like and subscribe for more videos, and thanks for watching.